Hello, this is Molly Reamer with 30 Days of Goddess in the Goddess Magic community on Patreon with this month's Goddess Guidance Club video. This month, our theme is trust, and the goddess we are honoring is Pandora. And so Pandora is another one of those Greek goddesses whose story has gotten so distorted by patriarchy that it's hard to tease out the roots of it. We know that when there are mythic stories of women as dangerous, there is really hidden power. There's a hidden message. There's hidden power there. Classically known as the first woman formed by the gods who then unleashed evils and sufferings into the world, older stories and evidence actually point to her as originally an earth goddess, a source of nurturing, sustenance, life, and all good things, including knowledge, wisdom, courage, and strength. She is the bearer of wisdom and the originator of culture, not the keeper of evil. She reminds us to unlock our own power, our own stories, our own wisdom, to stop hiding our gifts and to trust ourselves. So this month, I really encourage you, when thinking about Pandora, I really encourage you to think about what you have kept hidden away. What do you wish to unlock and set free? I wish to encourage you to unlock your own power, your own magic, your own wisdom, your own courage, and to set yourself free. So lots to consider with Pandora. She came to me really strongly at the end of last year. She was not a goddess that we already had in the shop. And so the final card in the Story Goddess Oracle honors Pandora as she was only the second card in the deck who didn't have a goddess in the shop first. The goddess was then created later. So we have this lovely sparkly peach. It really looks different in different lights, but you see how the stars glitter. So very cool. And then she has an unlocked treasure chest to remind you to unlock your own wisdom. We have the Muse version too. So I'm super excited about that. I think I'm not really usually a peach kind of person, but I think this is one of my all-time favorite pigments that we've created with the little stars in it like that. So anyway, if you're a member of the Goddess Guidance Club on Patreon, you will get this card packet that includes the materials to make a little packet like this with a prayer card in the back, the word, an affirmation. You get the little set of stickers, quote unquote stickers. You have to glue them down yourself, but they're sticker shaped, and a matching bookmark, as well as the cute little, if I do say so myself, Pandora prayer booklet, both this size. I haven't sewed mine together yet. They won't fall apart like this after they're done, but there's a little prayer booklet. I'm going to sew this one into a card that somebody made for me. And then there's a mini book, which I tend to stick into. I make a pocket with my snapshot card, and then I stick the little mini book into the pocket and keep it in my larger guidebook. So if you're a member of the community, you also get this guidebook and the set of snapshot cards. The guidebook this month is an extra big one, combining April and May. I'm going to be traveling in May, and so I decided to be my own best friend, set myself free, unlock my own power by making a combined guidebook. But it's basically twice as long as the guidebooks for the other months. So it's just April and May put together in one, and I assembled it simultaneously. So it's got essentially double the content, but all in one book. And if you are a free member of the community, you do get a sampler pack of these snapshot cards, and then the full set goes to members of the Patreon. And then I did want to point out this time, because I think some people have gotten confused before, is that these are black and white documents that I've just chosen to have printed on colored paper. The whole guidebook is a black and white document. I've chosen to get a color cardstock cover page for that. This set is in color and the stickers are in color, but I try to make a balance of black and white resources and color resources. I love the way the color adds a pop, and so I choose to get my stuff printed at Staples. But I know some people prefer black and white, and so the guidebooks and the mini prayer books are black and white for people who prefer that. You can print it on colored paper for a little extra pop if you like that, and you can still color it in even on the colored paper. So anyway, that is what's coming up for people for the Goddess Guidance Club. And I did want to share a little bit more about Pandora and her original story. I have this book, Lost Goddesses of Early Greece by Charlene Spretnak, who's an author I've always really enjoyed and had a formative influence on my own work. I will say some of a lot of stories have been lost. A lot of information has been lost. And so people have to take some leaps sometimes in logic or draw some conclusions or extrapolate some information. And so then other people will like to critique that as, well, that's not 100% accurate because, blah, 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 blah. But really, we're all going on pretty small shreds of evidence for a lot of things. And sometimes we have to trust our own felt sensations. Sometimes we have to look below the surface. Sometimes we have to read between the lines. So we don't need to necessarily accept this version of the story as 100% truth. But in reality, nobody knows the older story. What we do know from historical perspective is that powerful women and powerful goddesses were often intentionally destroyed or minimized or subverted into a cautionary tale. Witness Eve, witness Lilith, witness Pandora. So a woman, a goddess in power, in authority, in a creative capacity is often minimized down to a cautionary tale, essentially, a warning. Don't try to embrace your own power. So I see Pandora, and as I said, she came to me really clearly in that capacity. I see her as this goddess of liberation, of unlocking, of freedom, of setting forth, of setting yourself free, of refusing to close away your wisdom and hide it in a jar or a box. It turned into a box or a chest, but it was originally a jar. That's why the card has the little jar on her belly, because originally she had this jar that had all the wisdom in it. And really what Charlene says in her translation is what she really had in the jar was all the gifts for humankind. It was not the bad stuff that people didn't want to unlock. It was all the good stuff. And she was a nurturing goddess of creativity and the earth and of nurturing. So I wanted to share some things from that. And so Pandora is pictured on ancient vessels in Greece as a figure rising from the earth with outstretched arms, the rising of the goddess. Sometimes she's labeled Ge, G-E, or Andesidora, she who sends up gifts, or Pandora, which means the giver of all gifts. So in the famous story, she has bad things that get unlocked because she's a troublesome girl. But in the original stories, she brought the abundance of the earth goddess in her great jar, the Pithos, that's her little jar. And she brought great things there. And so in ritual and matriarchal theology, she was Kore, like Persephone. And she, instead of being made by the gods, as a human woman, she was an earth goddess first. And so, let me see, I'm going to keep going with that story. And she made all things and brought everything to you. And so the story, and this is a brief story, so I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. The myth of Pandora as translated by Charlene goes as follows. Earth Mother had given the mortals life. This puzzled them greatly. They would stare curiously at one another, then turn away to forage for food. Slowly they found that hunger has many forms. One morning, the humans followed an unusually plump bear cub to a hillside covered with bushes that hung heavy with red berries. They began to feast at once, hardly aware of the tremors beginning beneath their feet. As the quaking increased, a chasm gaped at the crest of the hill. From it arose Pandora with her earthen Pithos. The mortals were paralyzed with fear, but the goddess drew them into her aura. I am Pandora, the giver of all gifts. She lifted the lid from the large jar. From it, she took a pomegranate. You see, there's a relationship with Persephone here, which became an apple, which became a lemon, which became a pear. I bring you flowering trees that bear fruit, gnarled trees hung with olives, and this, the grapevine that will sustain you. She reached into the jar for a handful of seeds and sprinkled them over the hillside. I bring you plants for hunger and illness, for weaving and dyeing, as in dyeing cloth. Hidden beneath my surface, you will find minerals, ore, and clay of endless forms. She took from the jar 2 flat stones. Attend with care, my plainest gift. I bring you flint. Then Pandora turned the jar on its side, inundating the hillside with her flowing grace. The mortals were bathed in the changing colors of her aura. I bring you wonder, curiosity, and memory. I bring you wisdom. I bring you justice with mercy. I bring you caring and communal bonds. I bring you courage, strength, and endurance. I bring you loving kindness for all beings. I bring you the seeds of peace. So this month, let us honor Pandora as the giver of all gifts, and let her inspire and encourage us to unlock all that we have shut away. So from the back of her card, trust, our core affirmation for this month, I trust myself. I trust myself. I should have also said, I unlock my own wisdom and set myself free. And then a little prayer /practice. Pause, take one breath, call your spirit back. Take another breath. Arrive where you are. Take another breath. Center yourself in this wholeness. So that is a prayer / practice all in one, tucked into the back pocket there. And then we will close today with Pandora's poem. Listen, I know stories that reach the bone and open the eyes. I know poems that unbind the heart and loosen the limits. I know songs to connect the soul to the sacred. I know devotion that sears the skin with magic and cracks the heart with hope. I know prayers that unlock trust, that touch the depths and speak the truth. I know full color living, rich with magic, pulsing with grace, and alive with awe. I am full of everything that matters. Thank you so much for being here. You are full of everything that matters. Keep living your magic.